You are listening to the Oneofus.net podcast network. One of Us is a podcast and video network funded all but entirely by donations and subscriptions. We do accept pitches for audio-based or banner ads, but on a case-by-case basis. If you are interested in that, contact us at oneofusnet@gmail.com. With the amount of audio and video content we generate, it is expensive and extremely time-consuming to keep things running. Please go to the webpage oneofus.net and sign up for a subscription at $2, $5, $10, or $25 and get a ton of bonus content. One of Us needs and appreciates all your support.
Echoing the Canadian comedy classic SCTV, cross-cutting between original, low-budget TV ads to tell the sinister tale of two restaurants battling it out in the fictional town of Westridge County, Canada. There you go. That's the premise of this movie. That is the long and short. That is how they described it. That is what the filmmakers have described. This is a movie presented entirely in local commercial ads.
Yes.
And piece by piece, you start connecting the dots as to which company or building or business is next door to which company or business. And there's a slow, pervasive presence that starts infecting, taking, moving, doing stuff. This is a weird movie. If you are a fan of Too Many Cooks or unedited footage of a bear, this is not made by those people, but it's definitely going to be in your wheelhouse if you dig that sort of absurd, surreal, insane, captivating strangeness.
It does start getting like really uncomfortable. It makes it, being down here in Texas, it reminds me of all the barbecue joints and the family places that are arguing back and forth. Like in Lockhart, with like blacks.
Who
and
made
all
which
that.
sauce?
Exactly, yeah.
Whose sauce belongs to whose sauce?
We have the original recipe.
It's Italian, even though our chef has a very strangely Scottish last name.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the review for Buffet Infinity. You clicked on it, you knew that's what it was, but let me tell you who's here. I'm TC. I'm joined by two of my favorite public access celebrities. We have Drew.
I love local access. I did some stuff here at Austin Access back in the day.
Oh boy, we might have to talk about that. Yeah. And one of the best in the biz as far as this. I saw the trailer for this movie and I was like, this is a Mike movie through and through. Mike is here.
Yes. Oh, very much so. In fact, I started this despite the fact that I first watched this movie months ago. I was like, oh, this is on the docket? Well, then fuck yeah, I want to talk about this because I think I've been telling you for months about this movie. As far back as like April or May.
Yeah, you were the first one to tell me about this. A movie presented entirely in commercials. This is strange. Okay, it is a fully produced 90-minute feature film, but it's the presentation that makes it so unique. If this was just about a battling buffet in a sandwich place presented any normal traditional film way, it might be cool and good depending on who made it. But I think specifically making it this way helps it stand out and be this unique, weird, specific genre of analog horror.
Yeah.
Coming into this review, I didn't even write my standard intro because I wasn't quite sure how to approach talking about this because it's not a traditional film.
No, it reminds me not just of the Adult Swim 4 a.m. infomercials, which of course I'm a massive fan of.
Yes.
There's also a movie that I don't know if you guguys have heard of called WNUF Halloween Special.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you've seen it. Have you seen it, TC?
I don't think so. Did that have anything to do with the Channel 57 analog horror?
Basically, it was like it just played like a presentation of like a news special report kind of thing in some like small town news station that was also packed with like fake commercials. But I think that one was played a little bit more straight. Like there's some dark humor in there, but it's not entirely as out there as Buffet Infinity is. But it feels like the same animal, basically. And yeah, I mean, like you know me for years, TC, you know that I love my weird shit. And this just feels like those 4 a.m. infomercials stretched out to 90 minutes. And it's just absolute pure lunacy. It's kind of a masterpiece, honestly.
Yeah.
I remember when the WNUF special came out, they sent out VHS tapes to critics or people in general, and I tried for a very long time to say that this is a real tape, and I would pop it in for people and be like, no, it's really creepy. They just sent it to me, and the actual VHS tape was just, it was just a felt marker, right? I mean, it was just like, and you can just pop it in, and then I'm sitting there watching it with a group of people, and then one of the people we were with just happened to just Google it, and I was like, oh, this is fake, and I was like, I've been setting this up for a long time.
You ruined it.
Yeah, I know, but that's still and like Ghost Watch is probably something that people.
Oh yeah, Ghost Watch. Yeah,
are probably familiar with too. But this one, it's not. It's Buffet Infinity is not a kind of a fake newscast. It's just these commercials just going back and forth, and they get weirder and weirder. And I'm trying not to like use cosmic horror and that, but there is an aspect to that, and I don't.
Yeah, and
a little bit.
Choosing all these comparables. Local 58, that was the other analog horror that this reminded me of. Finding this very specific, unique way of presenting horror and cosmic horror, but it's just such a weird movie. And yet I could not look away.
It's like if Tim and Eric made a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because especially like the commercials for like the stereos, the thrift, or the secondhand pawn shop kind of place. That very much plays like a Tim and Eric skit, because like these guys, they have like this ongoing gimmick where like, yeah, we rap in our commercials, but they don't really have a grasp of how hip hop works, and they seem very like uncomfortable with how with like being on camera. And even at some point, the coworker just kind of lets slip out some like really dark truth about himself, about his mental health condition, and the guy who's just trying to be a showman, he's like, "What the fuck?" Even then, like one thing that's really great is like, yeah, it starts off being mostly about like these two restaurants kind of feuding with each other that kind of live in the same strip mall. Buffet Infinity, which really has a hard time really sticking to an identity, because every time it has like a different logo. It's promoting a different theme. It's always adding a new gimmick. It desperately wants your business. And then there's like this simple sub shop run by this woman,
sweet lady
named Jen. Yeah, who's like, if it wasn't blatantly Canadian, you think that she was like Midwestern or something. And the whole thing's like, yeah, she's got the sauce. She got this Italian sauce that was like from her Italian grandmother. And you see like how they just take pot shots at each other, and it gets more and more aggressive as time goes on, especially the Buffet Infinity commercials, to a point where it's almost trolling.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point where it's just making fun of this woman or attacking this woman through verbal abuse.
Yeah, and going from passive aggressive to very aggressive, and like particularly my favorite was the commercial for the burger that gets overly complicated.
God. Yeah,
we had the sauce. It's a great sauce, but it's not so good that you have to base your whole entire personality around it.
I kind of wanted like a Beavis and Butthead cutaway at one point of just like stoners watching all of this unfold at like 4 a.m. But it really stays true to the concept for sure.
Yeah, the brilliance of this, I really, really took a moment to appreciate what this thing was doing in its absurdity. There is a very clear vision of a story here, but there are 2, maybe 3 moments where it steps outside of the film and shows you what is essentially reality that is being affected by this. That's where the Too Many Cooks element sort of stepped in, where you move away just enough to look back at this and see it for what it really is, quote unquote, before it sucks itself back in. And those couple of moments where they're placed, like the way this is all constructed, there is a brilliance in this. I know this will not be a movie that there's going to be a lot of people who just despise this type of thing. And honestly, analog horror for me is a mixed bag. There are people who call Skinamarink one of the best horror movies they've ever seen. It's not only one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen, it is easily one of the worst movies I have ever seen. And that's just a matter of taste. This tasted good. This tasted good like the sauce. The sauce that you can get anywhere, not just at one place, but many places.
It's really just ketchup and Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah. Drew, what do you think about analog horror, about this type of genre of horror? Because you're a horror guy.
I mean, yeah, it's funny. Like I try not to like do the subgenre thing too much, but it's getting to a point like with some of the stuff that that you can like say there's a good handful of movies that kind of fit into that space. But yeah, I mean, like with Skinamarink, I wasn't necessarily a fan of that either. But I think those films are more about when they catch on and they're micro budget movies and then they get an audience. I think that ends up being more the story. Buffet Infinity's definitely got some buzz, but it's not gonna be the next Obsession or anything.
No, not at all.
But I don't really like look at it that way. But I do know what you mean. Like with analog horror, like there's a certain feeling, there's a tactile feeling to it. But I also think that there's a lot of like this movie in particular. It's something that's like, it's interesting to watch. It's hypnotic. And then as you were saying, TC too, it's like there's a couple of moments that peek in, and if it's kind of hard to pay attention to all those things. But if you are, I think it is actually good to watch it a second time because it kind of flows over you and you start almost, especially if you're watching it at home, you start maybe doing other things and you feel like you're almost watching, just commercials happening and you're not really thinking about it anymore. But if you really pay attention to it, there's some really spooky shit that's going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Because also one of the plot points that unfolds is that it involves like a local cult, which might have some kind of connection with Buffet Infinity. That's clearly a stand-in for Scientology.
Very Scientology coded for sure. When this starts unfolding, I knew that it was a commercial, just a series of commercials. I started thinking, oh man, the cast, this is going to be hundreds of people if it's just loaded with commercials. Very quickly to understand it was just flipping between maybe a dozen commercial sets so that you can start putting these puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
And you're right, Drew. It is a movie that you may feel allowed to look away from, but there's so many wonderful details in each of these commercials and things you might not quite pay attention to that the movie does reward you for paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it starts escalating in a weird way. It almost is like, it reminded, in a strange way, like I thought about Eddington a little bit, like with Ari Aster's film, where it's just like you're kind of through, like if you were just watching Eddington, but it was just the commercials of what you were seeing, or political commercials the entire time. Right, and just slowly seeing like a town fall apart. That's kind of, I don't know, it was funny that Eddington popped in my mind when I was watching it, but I was paying enough attention, I think, where that kind of, it seemed to kind of make sense.
That's a really interesting comparison. I never would have thought of Eddington being thrown in the mix. But yeah, I would love to see that version of Eddington that's just all just fake commercials and local, like.
An interesting thing we're doing is because we keep comparing it to other things, which isn't the best way to necessarily review most movies, I think it's worth mentioning these different comparable things to give people a sense of what they're going to get into by going for this movie. And I do think that if anything we've listed, from Adult Swim to Eddington, fits into your style of movie you like, this is so worth checking out. It is so creatively done. It fits into these weird categories. I love the absurdity of it, and it won't be Obsession. This is not a movie that's going to blow up mainstream and bring in a lot of people, but I do think it's going to be one of those culty midnight horror movies. Drew, you helped us figure this out. This premiered at the Canadian Fangoria, right? No, not Fangoria. Fantasia, yes, which is exactly where a movie like this belongs. A film festival, one that specializes in the weird and spooky and strange. I
imagine it'd be a lot of fun to watch with just the right audience.
Oh yeah,
like it did play in a theater for one night here in Austin, but I was broke that night. I would have loved to have gone to that. Yeah, no, this is just a ton of fun. That like just watching these stories progress. It's a bunch of little stories. It's almost structured like one of those ensemble films, like Magnolia or something like that, where you are following these different characters at different phases and how they connect with one another, and through these increasingly absurd commercials, even at a point where even after it takes a really, really dark turn at one point, but it's also just so fucking funny. I found myself laughing a lot. It's like, again, the burger, the Beyond Comprehension burger is so fucking goddamn funny. and everything with like the retail people, and then just how it and there's a whole bunch of other characters that you're following, but those are the ones I just kind of really focus on. And like how there's like a conspiracy in town and who's at the center of it, and find out what it is. And it's like, oh shit, it's a really fucked up, crazy threat that somehow has decided to target local businesses in a small town in Canada for some strange reason. Yeah, this is just my kind of movie for sure.
Well, then with that said, why don't you throw in some final thoughts if you have any, and then put a score on it. What are you gonna give this?
This is the film that I think should be shown in not just in movie theaters at midnight. It should also be shown in economics classes throughout high schools in America. Like, when you just want to explain what capitalism is, just throw this movie on and they'll get it. But this is like, for such a small budget and a very simple concept, it's such a well put together film. It really sells the look of it, because there's a lot of movies that try to do the analog horror look that don't look authentic. This really does, and it's like it's both creepy but also really funny. It's like a bunch of Tim and Eric sketches directed by David Lynch. Like, the jokes work just so. Like, they work really well. And if you love, Adult Swim, if you love WNUF Halloween special, you'll love it too. Like, and of course, it's not going to be for everyone. I know that there's going to be people out there who could absolutely hate the fuck out of it. But I'll say, if anything, it does lose steam a little bit in the last, 25, 30 minutes. But it's still a really worthwhile journey to sit through. God damn it, I found it so delightful. It's a buffet that I'll keep coming back to for seconds, thirds, force. Like, they're gonna have to kick me out like Homer Simpson at the Sea Captain's buffet. And I would also totally pair this with there's a short film that's really amazing out there called Great Choice by Robin Commissar. It's gonna scratch the same itch. It's basically like a Red Lobster commercial from the 90s being played over and over, but gets increasingly creepier. It's on YouTube. It's fucking brilliant. It's like the perfect companion piece to this. I'm gonna give this 8 out of 10 complicated burger toppings.
Very good. True.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna check out that Great Choice short film. Thanks for the rec,
fucking
Mike.
Great.
Okay,
I love
cool.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to talk about what I was already mentioning, I think that if I really would say if you're going to go through this, really pay attention to it. I know it's hard to at some points, but once you do that, I really think it's a good idea. And like you're saying, Mike, to pair it with something else. But if anybody out there that likes to have horror movie nights and invite people over, this is a really fun thing to also start playing in the background and just have everybody go, "What the fuck are we watching?"
Yeah,
and then
sure.
and introduce it that way, which I think is always, a lot of fun to do. I've done that with all the DVD trailer mashups and stuff. I'll just play trailers for 2 hours and then finally play the movie. So yeah, I mean, I'll give this 7 out of 10 Wu-Tang burgers, because I would really like to see a Wu-Tang version of this where they did all their Beyond Burger stuff and they went out into outer space. And I would love to see some Wu-Tang commercials that are in this vein. So just putting it out there in the cosmic universe.
Well, I agree with you guys. I've said a lot of what has made me continue to think about this movie. I do agree, Mike, that it does kind of slow down as it's getting to the end. It feels like it hits its peak, but then just keeps going a little longer than would make it that much better. Because this works. This really works. These guys did not invent this subgenre. They just found something that worked really well to make something very deliberately rough around the edges that utilizes the medium damn near perfectly. Absolutely. I love that there are no recognizable actors in this whatsoever. It feels correct.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's strange. You're going to be thinking about it after the fact. It is worth watching with people. As much as it can be enjoyable to watch a movie alone, I think there's something to experience here with people. And yeah, make this part of your Halloween rotation. I don't think you're going to be disappointed, especially the later and loopier you are when you watch it. So, not perfect, especially because this won't be for everyone, but I had a really good time with it. So I think I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 sinkholes that you can get rid of. Just stare at it. It'll go away. Very good. All right. Well, with that said, just a quick shout out to my local access channel, which was just down the street from my house growing up. We had a couple of weirdos who had local access shows that I still think of to this day. One guy really fancied himself a David Letterman, and he was not. But Drew, I know you did some local access. If you want to do a quick shout out for your faves.
Well, I remember watching The Real Deal. Which here in Austin, which had Chris Cox and Martin and everybody that's kind of a part of the One of Us thing.
Coleman
Yeah, Corey, yeah, for sure. Who they do Double Toasted now, and there was one called The Show with No Name we used to watch a lot, and apparently they like went out to L.A., tried to make it work. I'm not sure if it did, and then there was another kind of like show when I was a kid called Ask Livia Live.
There's a whole documentary coming out about Austin Public Access.
Oh,
that I
cool,
heard about
cool.
that played at Fantastic Fest. And also, there's a YouTube channel out there that took a bunch of old episodes of The Real Deal and uploaded them. And there's like a good couple of them that have our boy Chris. I texted him with a shot on the TV, like, who's this handsome devil?
So during his goth phase?
No, not during the God face.